Blog Talk Radio.
Oh, it's time to get real. Oh, yeah. It's a new experience. Reality, spirituality. Yeah, keep your ears open for this one now. Reality, spirituality. You got a question for RLN? Reality, spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get some answers, baby. Reality, spirituality. Oh, now we get real. Reality, spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get down. Reality, spirituality. Yeah, you gonna feel good now. Real good. Now, that's what I'm talking about. Time to get real. Oh, it's time to get real. Oh, yeah. Reality, spirituality. It's a new experience. Reality, spirituality. Yeah, keep your ears open for this one now. Reality, spirituality. You got a question for RLN? Reality, spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get some answers, baby. Reality, spirituality. Oh, now we get real. Reality, spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get down. Reality, spirituality. Yeah, you gonna feel good now. Real good. Now, that's what I'm talking about. Time to get real.
Yes, I know. Intro times two. Woo-wee! Welcome to Reality Spirituality. I'm your host, Rebecca L. Norrington, Global Happiness Specialist. Welcome to the show. Welcome, new listeners. Thank you for sharing this show. Wow, what a morning. Yikes! Woo! I'd like to wake up with a lot of energy, and that's what's going on today. Little technical difficulties, but you know what? You just keep it moving. Keep it moving. For my new listeners, I want to just say thank you for finding the show. And who the hell is this global happiness specialist? What? I cannot wait to get into today's topic, which is what can Kim Kardashian teach us about happiness? And the answer is everything. Oh, my goodness, what a great show. I cannot wait to share what I've learned. And it's not really a new lesson, but it's a confirming lesson. But before I go on, let me just let my new listeners a real quick introduction. When I talk about global happiness specialist, what my focus is not my focus. What I'm trying to say is I'm just so excited. I get so excited to start the show. Sometimes I just fumble over my words. But my focus is how to experience. The question is, how do we experience more happiness on this journey? Really, that is the only question, how to experience more happiness on the journey. And when I say happiness, I'm talking about an internal peace. Let me give you my definition. My definition of happiness is the ability to be at peace regardless of what happens and regardless of what doesn't happen. The ability to be at peace when you're in the middle of life's storms. The ability to be calm. The ability to trust, to know that everything is happening for a reason. There is a purpose for everything. There are no mistakes. And what is the purpose? The purpose is to expand your consciousness. The purpose is for you to grow. The purpose is for you to get to another level. You know, out in nature, everything is growing. It grows. Nature, it just keeps growing, keeps expanding. And as a person, as a human, as an individual, that's really our purpose too, is to grow. You know, I used to think my purpose, when I found my purpose, I'd be happy. You know, the program purpose, the purpose of, well, I have to get to a certain level. I have to have a certain amount of money in my bank account. I have to be married to the certain person. I have to have all of the bells and whistles, the titles, the traveling. You know, once and then the other purpose is, I got to find how I'm going to share it with the world. Well, okay, that is the purpose. But what I'm finding my personal purpose is to be happy. And when I started searching for this, because I thought that finding my purpose would make me happy, and that is looking for something outside of self has nothing to do with your happiness. I searched for this purpose for decades. It took a long time for me to finally realize the truth about happiness and the truth about my purpose. And I discovered that my purpose is to grow, and my purpose is to expand my consciousness. My purpose is to accept myself and others without criticism or complaint. My purpose is to feel in every moment, be in the present moment, live in the present moment, the vibration, live with the vibration of satisfaction, not live with the vibration of being dissatisfied. My purpose is to be okay with uncertainty. My purpose is to trust. My purpose is to live in the present moment the same way I lived when I was born. All of us, we were all born like that. I teach classes, the truth about happiness, and one of the, I ask this question all the time. Everybody raises their hand. How many of you worry? Everyone raises their hand. Yeah, worrying. Even not one of my students to say that worrying is normal. Worrying is natural. Worrying is just part of life. Worrying is what humans do. But you didn't come out worrying. You weren't born worrying. You were taught to worry. So on this show, what I do is but is to share with you what to unlearn what you learned about happiness. Because this worrying is not natural and it's not normal. You learned how to worry. And you can't be happy and worry at the same time. This show, Reality Spirituality, shares with you tools. Well, let me back up a little bit. Happiness is a practice skill. Just like anything else, the topic today is, I cannot wait to get to it. The topic today is what can Kim Kardashian teach us about happiness? Well, there's a lot of things she could teach me about photo shoot, and I'm not making light of it. Photo shoot, wearing different clothes for your body, contouring, makeup, hair, all of that. How to handle crowds, how to handle paparazzi. She could teach me a lot. And when I say it's a practice skill, it's a skill that we all practice certain skills. And it's up to us to determine what is important. What is the highest skill I could practice? And for me, little old me, it's about how to be happy regardless of what happens. Because the happiness doesn't come from what happens. Happiness doesn't come from something that happens. Happiness is a state of mind. And that's what I share on this show, because life is going to happen. My purpose, one of my other purposes that I discovered, is to live in the present moment. I said that before, and look in the mirror for my solutions. Not out there, not at a person, not at my bank account. It's inside. Look in the mirror for the solutions. My purpose is also to surrender in every single moment. In other words, flow with life. Flow with life. Go with life, as opposed to resisting. When you flow, you're going to find more peace. That doesn't mean you don't take action. That doesn't mean that you ignore. That doesn't mean that you put your head in the sand. But there is a skill. There is a practice of flowing with trust, surrendering with trust, letting go, being okay with uncertainty. All of these things are a practice, and every single one of them adds to your happiness. My other purpose, one of the things is to monitor, is to be self-aware and monitor my self-growth, my growth, and celebrate my growth. Yeah, Celebrate a birthday. Anybody can do that. Anybody can celebrate a holiday, New Year's Eve. Anyone can do that. I'm talking about who celebrates personal growth. Where's that celebration on the yearly calendar? Celebrating personal growth. Who does that? Who talks about it? It's not even, is there any value in celebrating personal growth? I mean, we could celebrate the birth of a baby. Anyone could celebrate the birth of the baby. Sorry about that, baby. Anyone could do it. Birthdays, anniversaries, 4th of July, Labor Day. The list is endless of things that we celebrate. But how about celebrating our personal growth? And before you can celebrate personal growth, you got to be self-aware and know how different you are from 6 months ago. And if you can't tell me, well, this is just me being me. This is just me being bold and brash and so annoying. If you can't tell me specifically how you are different, how are you different today than you were a week ago, a month ago, 2 months ago? I'm not talking about 5 years ago. Growth is constant. Constant. So guess what? It's a constant celebration. Constant celebration. The other thing I used to think my purpose was scratch what I used to think. My purpose is to vibrate an energy of peace and contentment, regardless of my circumstances, regardless of what's happening. My purpose is to laugh. You know that one of the things that I give my students assignments, I say, you need to laugh more. You need to lighten up. There's a lot of heaviness, especially when we are experiencing something that we don't want to happen. All of a sudden, we get serious, and this is important, and this is so, you know that energy. Well, I'm here to tell you that you don't have to go through any of life's challenges with that serious energy. Because one of the things that subtracts from happiness is thinking something is serious, thinking something is important. I didn't say you don't navigate through it, but that this is serious, and that includes death. That includes death of a family member. I'm not talking about, I get a lot of pushback. Let me just call it pushback. One of the happiest days of my life was the day that I buried my father, because I was able to teach and to share with my son another way to respond to a parent's death. And what is the majority? What is the program response? Oh God, oh my life, oh it's just head down. I mean, listen, I'm not saying that my way is the best way, my way is the only way. All I'm doing is giving you options. What are we teaching our children about death? Our own death. What are we teaching our children? That when we go, oh God, it's the end of my life. I remember thinking when I was in my 20s that if my parents died, I didn't know what I was going to do. I had that thought for years. If they died, I didn't know what would happen to me. Oh, I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't want to teach that to my son. I didn't want to be the example of that. And of course, as usual, I get off into a tangent. Let me get back to the point. Happiness is a practice skill, and on this show, I share with you what to practice. My purpose is to practice every day in every moment, in every breath. And my other purpose is to share with you what I've learned about this thing called happiness. So my question is, well, scratch that. Let me get to the topic. Which is, what can Kim Kardashian teach us about happiness? Don't tell anybody. You promise not to tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. Shh, quiet. I watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians. And at first I started watching it, and there was a little bit of I'm going to be honest, there was a little bit of shame around it. But then I said, you know what? There was a lot of judging. one of the things that subtracts from happiness is judging other people. Judging other people, what they do, why they do it, all of it. And if that is the truth, and if I'm saying I'm a global happiness specialist, which I am, I got to practice not judging. It's a daily practice. And one of the ways I practice is watching that show or watching any show, but especially that one, because it's really easy to make judgments when you're watching that show. But guess what? My judgments subtract from my happiness. So I'm going to practice and practice and practice, and it's coming to the end. Well, it's already, we already filmed the last episode, the finale 2, and that's exactly what I want to talk about, the last episode. Because on the last episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, it was just on last Sunday, and during the last, I think it was the last 10 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, Kim Kardashian was talking to her mom, and they were sitting on the couch, and I know that Kim Kardashian filed for divorce from Kanye. That's not even the issue. She's talking, and she said something that I dropped, my jaw dropped. And this is nothing that I haven't said about a lot of other people that, are out there, that people, celebrities, people that we have access to. So let me just stay with the topic. And in the last few minutes of that show, she's sitting talking to her mother, and she says, Mom, and I'm paraphrasing. I didn't write anything down. I was just floored by her wisdom. She said, and I don't remember hearing this type of wisdom with this type of sincerity. I mean, I think Courtney has said some things on the same level too, but this really hit me. The last 10 minutes of the show, she says, Mom, this show, Keeping Up with Kardashians, has given me everything. I can't. My life has exceeded all expectations. She said exceeded all expectations. From her opportunities, from traveling the world, to meeting all types of people, to being on the cover of magazines that are published all over the world. The things that I remember she said years ago, that before she was famous, she had a publicist, and her publicist said, I think Kim Kardashian said one day she wanted to be on Vogue, and her publicist at that time said, "Oh, honey, no, honey, that's you'll never." She laughed at her, she poo-pooed, and she said, "Oh, honey, no, you'll never do that. You better dream a little bit lower. You better put your expectations, you better put your goals a little bit lower." Kim Kardashian has said that. Really interesting. And I want to underline that. Don't listen to what anybody else says. You feel you do you be you. But anyway, I digress. So whenever her early publicist says, "Oh, you on the cover of Vogue?" You're aiming too high. So fast forward to the last show, the finale 2 of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Kim Kardashian said, "I've exceeded all of my expectations and beyond. Traveling, building houses, purchasing houses. I mean, come on. The girl has everything. Everything." I'm doing air quotes here. Air quotes. Can buy anything, can go anywhere. This woman went to the White House, sat down with the President of the United States. Are you kidding? And she started off as an organizer for closets. So she was expressing that. She said, "My life is beyond comprehension. She's exceeded her goals. She has her children. And you know what she said she doesn't have? Happiness. She said she wasn't, well, she didn't say, I'm not happy, but she's missing happiness. To the point where on the show she admitted that now she's going to a counselor. She's going to a counselor because she's looking for, wanting for, searching for that happiness. And that's what this show, Reality Spirituality, is about. See, it's putting the cart before the horse. People can have anything, and I've said it for years and years. Everything. Oprah has everything. But what was one of her comments? I've told this story before, too. I was on a teleconference, and, she was doing this promotion for one of her specials. This was years ago, maybe 5 years ago, 6 years ago. It was called Belief. And she was promoting it. And Oprah made a comment about meeting the Pope or being in the same presence as the Pope at the time. He made a visit to the United States. And Oprah made a comment, and she says, wow, I can look at him, I can feel him, all that peace. And she said, I heard her, I wish I had some of that peace. Sure would be nice to have some of that peace. I've said it. You've heard it. This unrest, this searching for, this wanting something, it's that happiness, which is really, now I use the word happiness, it's the same as peace. It's the same as inner peace, contentment, that vibration of satisfaction. It's the same thing. It's that same vibration. Because happiness is an energy. It's a vibration. It's nothing that you do. It's a vibration that you give out. It's a vibration that you emit. And when you practice, guess what? That practice becomes your identity. Your happiness becomes your identity. So So it's not about this happens and now I'm not feeling good. It's not about, now I have to, I'm getting it, or I failed the test and now I feel bad. No, that peace of mind, peace in mind. The peace in mind is what I'm talking about, is the practice. The cart before the horse. When I was younger, you've heard it, I've done the same thing. When I was younger, I wanted two things. I wanted to live to my potential, and I wanted to be happy. Well, guess what? I thought living to my potential was going to make me happy. I thought that what I did was going to make me happy, and it's not. It didn't. It's the same thing. Now, let me ask you this question, and especially if you listen to last week's show. I don't look at the numbers. Well, I look at the numbers of how many people listen to the show, but, I can't, the numbers, I used to look at the numbers and, oh, God, why did it have more numbers? And now looking at numbers subtract from happiness. It's not about the numbers. We're going to come back to that number thing again. But last week, if you listened to the show, well, let me just say it really quickly. A friend of mine that I've known for about 3 years, almost 4 years, 3.5 years, was just given the diagnosis that he's got 6 months left to live, give or take. Pancreatic cancer, liver cancer, now it's spreading his bloodstream. They're can't have surgery. There's nothing they can do. At least that's what the medical doctors are telling him. Who knows what's going to happen? We're not in charge of the future. Who knows? It's going to be, looking into these experimental drugs. Whatever, we don't know. But even so, that diagnosis, 6 months left to live. And I'm telling you, I'm taking that and I'm going to run with it for the rest of my life because there is an urgency. There is an urgency now. There's an expiration date on this life. We're all going to kick the bucket sooner or later. And my favorite quote is, you cannot be happy with an unhappy journey. And I'm talking about the journey. And I'm talking about the practice. Kim Kardashian said she's looking for happiness. She's not happy. She's going to a counselor, a physical coach, I don't know if it's a psychologist, psychiatrist, I don't know what it is, counseling for happiness. She's not happy with all of the shit she has. Isn't that the story for everyone? I know I start yelling at you, but I just get so passionate about this. But isn't that the story for everyone? I don't care what you've accomplished. It really doesn't matter how you feel. And when I say how you feel, oh, I feel good today, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what are you rooted in? What are you vibrating? What are you vibrating? That is a practice. Let me ask you this question, talking about numbers. My best friend, he challenges me a lot. He's just, we grow together, and same level. We grow together, just grow together. Anyway, because I look at social media from time to time, and I was looking at, and I was telling him, I was looking at what happened. There was something that caught my eye, and then I went to Beyonce's Instagram page. And I was sharing this with my best friend, and I said, wow, she posts up these pictures, beautiful pictures, fashion, oh my God, the fashion, woo, wow, it's really beautiful. I mean, the clothes and the fashion and the posing and the places, it's wow. And then he said, how would she feel? Because she's got millions of likes for every photo, 5 million likes, 3 million likes. And I don't think there's anything less than 3 million likes, 2 million likes on every single photo. And he said to me, what would she feel like if there were 0 likes, if nobody liked the photo? She's posting all, and this isn't about Beyonce, this is just a hypothetical question about anybody that's out in the public. Remember I told you about looking at how many of my numbers on the show. I can't look at them. Numbers, I can't let numbers affect who I am, but let me get back to the point. What if Beyonce is posting all of these photos, Kim Kardashian is posting all these photos, people that post all these photos, and nobody likes them. Nobody pushes the button and says like, and there's 0. You post all these beautiful photos of gorgeous places in great fashion, and nobody likes the photo. Not one person. And that's just not for a day. It is not a software problem. There's not a glitch. Nobody likes the photo. What does Oprah post? Nobody pays attention. There's no likes. Who would she be then? Nobody paid attention. Listen, I don't know what she'd be. I'm just asking the question. I'm not saying how she would be, what she would. I'm not saying any of it. But are you posting the pictures for you, or are you posting the pictures for likes? Nothing wrong with either one. Let me hold my hand up. I'm not making a judgment. But what I'm saying is, who are you without the likes? Would you be okay without the likes? Kim Kardashian is saying she's got everything, which she does. Anything money can buy. Happiness. See, peace and happiness cannot be bought. A peaceful state of mind cannot be purchased. It is a practice skill, and we were all programmed to be unhappy. This is the programming. The programming is I'm going to get something, I'm going to do something, I'm going to accomplish something, I'm going to marry someone, I'm going to travel, and I'm going to be happy. And I'm here to tell you that that is a lie. What if for 30 days, all of these people that post these photos for others, you're doing it for someone else to get likes. when I post my photos, when I post my video, it's so funny because sometimes I don't get, I'm lucky if I get 1 like, 2 likes, maybe 4. Oh, wee! But see, the likes don't determine how I feel. The likes have nothing to do with my internal, with my peace. No, at all. No, because if it did, I would be pretty miserable. I would really be pretty miserable. It's not about outside. It's not about anything outside. This happiness, this peace of mind, peace in mind, is about a vibration and how you feel about yourself. I live in a very small town. I've said it before. I know all you image people, not image, but what are they called? Stylish people. I went from being a California girl to being a farm girl really quick. Where if I put on a pair of jeans, I'm dressing up. And I used to didn't be like that. But my point is this. I can feel beautiful, confident, peaceful, regardless of what I'm wearing and regardless of what I look like. I went out yesterday and I looked in the mirror and I said, oh, my God, you look tore up. I have my hair under a hat. I mean, just sloppy, not dirty, but just I look like I've been working out in the yard. Went out. Now, some would be a big frown on that. No. I feel good from the inside. From the inside. It doesn't matter what I'm wearing, and it doesn't matter what anyone thinks of me. It matters what I feel and think of me. Clothes for me. I'm not talking about anyone else. I know you say, look good, feel good. Well, that's not true. That's not true. Because there's not one person, scratch that, not one person, but Kim Kardashian looks pretty good with all her clothes or style. I mean, are you kidding? It's off the chain. It's beautiful. Settings, designer, couture. It's gorgeous. Look good doesn't mean feel good. No, dress good. Dress good, look good doesn't mean feel good. The feel good has nothing to do with what you're wearing. It has nothing. My question to you, my dear audience, is who are you without all of the stuff, without all of the extras, without all of the status? Who are you? Who are you? What if Oprah, nobody pays attention? Oprah says something and there was, what is it? Crickets. I wish, I got to get some sound effects. Crickets. Nobody paid attention. No one. And they didn't pay attention for 6 months. What would happen? What would happen to these people that get a lot of attention? My point is, this happiness and the peace is not in anyone, is not outside of self. And everybody's going to face it. I don't know when you're going to face it, but you are going to face it. Before you're on your deathbed, you will face it. Steve Jobs faced it. You can't find any. Well, I'm sure there's a lot, but I mean, change the word. I spoke about this before. Not happy until the end of his life when he figured out what was really important, and he would take those walks when he was dying from his house to the park. And he had visit. I think it was a visit from one friend, and he says, now I know what's really important. And all I'm doing on this little show is sharing with you what's important now. Not later, not after. Let's have a sense of urgency right now. But I get it. It's easy. not to look in the mirror. It's easy to stay with the program. It's easy. It's very, 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 very uncomfortable to do some introspective work, to do the work, to practice. It's very uncomfortable. I know. I'm uncomfortable a lot of the time. I'm cursing the universe. Now, I say universe, you can use this term, universe, God, spirit, higher power, it doesn't matter. But I'm uncomfortable a lot, cursing them out a lot. But I wouldn't change one thing. And I thought about this. The universe, if somebody dropped 500, let me do $1 billion. You know, $1 billion is a lot of money. What is it? It's $3,000 a day for 100 years. $1 billion is, I think it's $3,000 a day for 100 years. It's something like it's crazy. If you gave me $1 billion and they said, "Hey, Rebecca, let go of no more conscious talking, no more, just go back to who you were, keep your money." Let me do $1 million, 500 million, 500 million. Keep your money. And I swear I wouldn't go back to who I was if you paid me. The level of consciousness, the recognizing the programs that say, if you do this, you will be happy, are just not true. Give me any examples of it. And I know that intuitively you know too. My friend has 6 months, maybe more, maybe less to live. There's a sense of urgency here. I'm sharing this message with anybody that wants to listen. Happiness is a practice skill. And what do we practice? It's like any other practice. When you commit to the practice, and it's daily, you get the results. It's not talking about it, it's actual action. And so my question is, are you ready to prioritize happiness over everything else? And your answer is going to determine how much happiness you're going to experience on this journey. The first part of the practice starts with eliminating those behaviors that have been proven to subtract from happiness. Worrying, having expectations, blaming someone else for how you feel, comparing yourself to others, having attachments, noticing what someone else is doing, being impatient, believing words have power. All of that subtracts from your happiness. The second part of the practice is cultivating behaviors that have been established to add to happiness. Some of those behaviors are acceptance of self and others, trusting that everything that happens for a reason, not taking anything personally, being self-aware, humbling your ego, being yourself, being okay with uncertainty. That's part of the practice. It's up to you, your life. All I'm doing is sharing. What I get a lot is a lot of complaining. I get a lot of people complaining. Nobody wants to look in the mirror and say, what can I do different? I'm not saying nobody, but. So my question to you is, if there's any conflict or whatever you're going through, whatever struggle, ask the universe, ask God, how do I trust more? How do I let go? How do I believe? How do I know and trust that everything that I experience is for my betterment? Everything I experience is for my growth. How do I do that, universe? Help me with that, because I'm stuck. They're all asking for it. Justin Bieber had the same thing. It's this huge article. I want to be happy. Whatever you're vibrating is what you're contributing to the world. What are you contributing? Only you can answer that. Well, that's the end of today's show. I want to thank you for listening, Reality Spirituality. Thank you for people in the queue. I know I like to get people in the queue, and they like to listen anyway. Next time, if you have a question, just press the number 1. That's the end of today's show. I want to thank you for listening. Reality Spirituality is heard every Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can visit my website at RebeccaNorrington.com. Follow me on Twitter at RLNorrington. And LinkedIn, my Instagram handle is Reality Spirituality. I have a YouTube channel, of course. I really need to update that. It's a work in progress, just like me. My first book, Reality Spirituality, The Truth About Happiness, can be purchased on Amazon.com. And my second book, the one I'm writing now, my second book, Program for Unhappiness, is going to be out soon. And until next week, my dear audience, I want you to remember who the hell you are. You're a physical extension of the universe. You're always evolving. You're always changing. You're always growing. Love is patient and love is kind. Be patient and be kind to yourself. Be your own best friend. Remember, you cannot have a happy ending to an unhappy journey. It is about the journey. You've been listening to Reality Spirituality Radio with yours truly, Global Happiness Specialist Rebecca L. Norrington. Have a conscious week. And remember, happiness is a practice skill. Your experience in every moment reflects on what you practice.
Yeah. Oh, it's time to get real. Oh, yeah. It's a new experience. Reality Spirituality. Yeah, keep your ears open for this one now. Reality Spirituality. You got a question for RLN? Reality Spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get some answers, baby. Reality Spirituality. Oh, now we getting real. Getting real. Reality Spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get down. Reality Spirituality. Yeah, you gonna feel good now. Real good. Now, that's what